think we've started. Welcome, 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 my beautiful friend, Mrs. Caro Cox. How are you today?
Hi, Stephanie. Pretty good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we met at Squad Up this year.
Yes.
Yes, you were my business partner, Carol's roommate,
Yes.
and you were so kind and helpful in helping us get good seats. Because you were Miss VIP. Yes.
Yes. I didn't want to be by myself, and I did everything to help people around me. So I didn't. Fortunately, I was able to, and I grabbed seats for everybody. So we were in a group and having fun.
Yes, it was fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes. Good.
Well, you're joining me today because you've been doing flipping, some
Mhm.
flipping with your husband, and now you guys have made this switch to private money lending. You're still doing the flipping?
Yes, we're doing both. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
Because we started before joining the private money lending, so we're
Okay.
still working on the fix and flip, and then probably we're gonna keep doing it, but
Yeah.
in another way.
Okay. Well, so what prompted that move? How did you go from flipping houses? Because you can make some really good money off of flipping houses. I've heard about the kind of returns you can get. Now, the only thing is, though, is depending on how the market's doing and how
Right.
long it takes to get the deal done, the project done. But what made you think of, okay, now I want to check out private money lending?
So we have been flipping and fixing houses long time ago, but I will say it from in the traditional way. So we bought houses, we fix and flip, and we kept the property for 2 years and then sold the property. But we were doing as a business, aside of our business or my husband's business and my job.
Okay.
So we were not um, focused in the real estate completely.
Okay.
But now, and then I found out the opportunity to start lending my money, and now I'm a private money lender because I also was in the banking industry for many years,
Ooh,
and I saw my business, my CDs, even my 401k that it was not growing.
yeah.
Then when I started the real estate journey and the other side, I learned a lot of options that you can grow your money better. And I did my first private money lending, and I saw the difference. And that's what I'm doing now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So for people that, because you mentioned something about doing flipping the traditional way and you're doing private money lending. So maybe we take a step back and just explain what is different, or what is private money lending versus the traditional lending or hard money lending.
So we haven't used harmony lending before or traditional lending. We were using our own money.
Oh, okay.
So we were paying for everything and then later getting back. But now that I know the other options, I see that my own money can grow better if I lend to another borrower. And,
Mm,
when I go and do my next fix and flip, I can raise capital and use others people money. So then
nice.
I help other lenders to grow their money, and I help borrowers to keep going with their projects.
Love it. Okay, so other people's money, OPM. Yes. So if you're a borrower, meaning you want to buy properties to fix and flip, or you want to buy and hold, you're buying the property. You can go to a private money lender who is using their own funds or maybe partnering with other individuals, and they're using their own funds to lend on these deals. And so hard money lenders, those would be like the bigger institutions, like the Boomerangs and Capital Fund and oh my gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. Those are the two that are coming to my mind right now. I think Coastal might be another hard money lender. So they have very set parameters.
Yes.
They have very set guidelines as far as what they want to see and what they're willing to lend and how much they're willing to lend. So they're not as flexible
Mm-hmm.
as the private money lenders. And so you had the money that you were using for your own projects.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned 401ks and CDs and all of that. You've been in the banking industry. You know what all of those options are, money markets, right? And what are those rates right now? Like they're stupidly low rates.
Yes, yes. All the time that I was in the banking industry, um, just to not to be too low, I would say the best interest that I saw was 6%.
Yeah.
It was APY for 6 months. Versus being a private money lender, I can make between 10% to 25% in 6 months. It's a
Wow.
huge difference. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I just want to like pause for a second. Let that that's a huge difference, people. That is so huge. Okay, so I know because I'm in the same boat here. I have some of my retirement funds that
Mm-hmm.
I put into a self-directed IRA because I wasn't getting good enough returns on what I was seeing in my traditional or my Roth IRA all by itself in the stock market or bonds, right? So
Yeah.
I moved that over to a self-directed IRA, and I'm investing in these different opportunities, real estate related opportunities, and
Mm-hmm.
what really appeals to me is the idea that you have an asset backed investment here. The
Mm-hmm.
property is the collateral
Right.
for what you're investing in versus when you're investing in the stock market, it's gambling.
Yeah, you're at the mercy of the market.
Yeah, or
Mhm.
whatever they decide to do. The government, the companies, the overall economy,
Mhm.
you're really at the mercy of everybody, and there's no security as far as what you're putting your money out there, but there's no asset that's supporting that.
Yeah,
So
and you don't have control.
exactly. Yes. Okay. So what do you think? Because I would think everybody would be all over this. And we know not everybody is all over this. And there have been some interesting stories that I've heard. So what are some of the biggest risks that private money lenders face?
So every investment has a risk. Even if you invest with the bank or you invest in real estate, every investment has a risk. It depends of your level of risk that you want to go with. But the main or the biggest risk could be bad deals, untrustworthy borrowers, no exit plan, or market changes.
Ooh, okay. So that's really good points. Okay, so I don't want to necessarily take a lot of time unpacking all of this because I'm sure that we both of us could spend all day talking about all of this. But just like at a high level on the deal, what when you say a bad deal, so when you are looking at a deal, are you doing your own underwriting then to vet that and say, okay, it's got to meet this certain criteria or I'm not doing it?
Yes, totally. I think the key is education, and I'm also now a capital raiser. So
Ooh.
what I suggest every new person or lender that they want to deploy money is do your own due diligence and underwrite the project. If you don't know how to do it, there's people that you can hire, and they are good doing this to protect you. And you don't lend in somebody's project just because it's a nice person or you like them.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that it's a good deal,
Mm,
and because borrowers can underestimate cost, so you have to make sure that the numbers make sense.
for sure. Especially if you're dealing with new borrowers,
Mm.
right? They're not, and so that probably increases the risk. So getting to the person then. So I've heard people say, I'm not lending on a deal, I'm lending on the person, or I'm not investing in the deal, I'm investing in the person, or vice versa. Like, what do you think is the most important part? Is it the borrower or is it the deal?
Is the deal, because if you know somebody, I mean, even if it's a good person, again, the market can change,
Ah,
and the friendship doesn't pay back the loan. Real assets.
mm. So there could be, like you said, the market where the person did everything right and something with the deal this just didn't pencil out and the market switches and now it's not good.
Yeah, the property value can drop, and or delays can happen. Usually, the borrowers or operators, they estimate 6 months on the improvements or repairs, but something can happen.
Yeah.
Just not the people, but the weather or the government or laws can change. So
Wow. Okay. And some things we don't have any control over.
yeah.
Ah, okay. So how do you protect yourself against those risks, especially on your first deal?
Again, the key is education, and only lend with a signed promissory note or recorded lien. You have to think that now you would be, in the case you're gonna lend money, you are gonna be the bank. When you go to the bank, they just don't say, "Oh, you need money, and here's the money, and come back or pay back whenever you want." They make you sign documents, legal documents. So, and also make sure that the property has enough equity. Um, uh, it's better when it's under 70 to 75% of the property value, what are you going to lend. And
Mm,
also, you have to make sure that you vet the borrower, and you know the borrower,
yeah,
and review the deals.
right.
Also ask all the questions that you need. Um, what if the borrower, so happens something happens with the borrower?
Yeah,
Who's gonna pay? What is gonna happen? The worst scenario.
that's
So
a good point.
yeah.
Yeah, what if something happen what if the borrower gets hit by a bus, God forbid, or whatever, then what's happening with that project? Okay, that's a very
Yeah,
good
who
point.
will be in charge, or who's gonna take care of this and make sure
Mm.
that the project keep going, and so you're gonna get paid back.
Yeah. So, thinking about the borrower, what kind of criteria are you looking for that borrower has to meet before you say, okay, the deal looks good and you meet these criteria, so I'm willing to do this deal with you. I'm willing to lend on this deal with you.
Background check,
Mm,
and experience, and talk with directly with the borrower. Make sure he knows what he's doing.
mm-mm.
Experience, it talks by itself, so and also other people who had lent with this borrower, so they can give you referrals, and make sure that he is doing everything he offered. And the communication, I think, is also a key, that every question that you have, and anytime when it's the period that you lend the money, this borrower is answering, and that it's a green flag.
Yeah, yeah. Communication, experience. Do you look at like what their liquidity is already? Like,
Yes, because some borrowers, they besides the promissory note or the deed of trust, depending of if you're in first lien or second lien position, they offer you a guarantee, personal guarantee. You
okay.
have to make sure that they have something, or I mean assets that they can um, get rid of to pay off all the lenders.
Gotcha. Okay. So background check, referrals, the liquidity, responsiveness. Can they walk you through that deal with what they plan on doing? Um, yeah, those are all good things. So from a borrower perspective, be prepared. Know
Yes.
that the lenders, the private money lenders, and really for that matter, hard money lenders, treasure, everybody who's lending is going to be asking you for this kind of information. So be prepared to provide that. And then from a lender perspective, if you're thinking about doing this, if you're new to this, then those are some things that you want to make sure that you're looking for and doing your due diligence. That reminds me of Mel Palmer,
Mhm.
who does those background checks, and she's got all of the certifications for doing all of that. She has access to every database out there. And so, yeah, you can get your, I don't know what they ended up calling it, if it was the
Passport.
passport.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. So, get your passport, be proactive, because I think if from a lender perspective, if somebody showed me their passport, they've got everything right there laid out. It's like, wow, that's impressive. That's
Yes.
very impressive. So that goes a long way to showing your credibility, your integrity, that you're prepared, you're organized. All of those things are super helpful. Um, so we talked about returns. We talked about some of the risks and how to protect yourself. Clearly, having the promissory note and being on the deed, right? Those are things that can protect you. What's the biggest lesson you've learned so far as a lender that you wish you would have known earlier?
So I have been very fortunate. I
Okay.
haven't had any bad experience so far. But anyhow, anytime that I'm going to lend again, I treat that as my first time. I do my
Mm.
due diligence. I undergrad the project, even if it's with the same borrower. I make sure that everything makes sense. The numbers are real,
Yeah.
and yeah. So
Good for you. You're one of the lucky ones then, for sure. Because I've heard so many people have at
yes,
least one story.
yes. Unfortunately, yeah, I know there's a lot of bad stories out there.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've been blessed.
Do you think that maybe part of this is because you've come from the borrower side of it in a way, like you had to fund your own deals. So you had to manage those projects, those flips, and a lot can go wrong and you have to deal with all of that. And so now, having done that for a while and knowing that whole process, and it's your own money that's at stake with that, and now you're turning around and lending, looking through deals, vetting those deals, you've got the experience to really vet those deals, do that underwriting. And I wonder if maybe that's got to give you a leg up over people that are just starting out as lenders. They've never done any kind of flipping or buying and renovating or any of that kind of stuff. This is like their first way of touching real estate, is by lending on it. And so they don't know how to underwrite. They don't know how to vet the deal. I think that's given you a big leg up there.
Yeah, I had preparation, but also I think it's my husband the key here and my success, because he has experience, and he had been checking every deal to make sure it works. And also when I was interviewing the borrower, he helped me to write down all the questions that we need to know to make sure
Nice.
it's I mean, you can tell when somebody's talking, it's not guessing. It's like
Yeah.
going straight to the answer. So they are prepared. They knew what they were doing. So
I love
that was very helpful. And and I haven't had much experience, but also I use my resources. As I mentioned earlier, you need to know how to underwrite the project, but if you don't know, there's a lot of people outside that they know how to do it really good. So if you can hire them in the beginning or work with them and learning from others. So, and that's what I like about this community that we are, that
it.
there's a lot of people that they are go-givers and they are helping each other to grow together. So
Yes.
if you don't know something, you ask somebody and they are always ready to assist until you're ready to do it by yourself, because that is the purpose, help you, guide you, and let you do it by yourself. So it's very nice.
It is. It is. It's so important to be to surround yourself with the right people.
Yes.
For sure, for sure. And you don't have to, I really, I just want to unpack that for a second too. The fact that if you don't know something, you can reach out and there are resources, there are people there. So you don't have to know everything to
Mhm.
begin with. Yes, yes, for sure. Because some people, they feel like they have to do all the trainings and study and get certifications, or like they're doing all these things. And it's like, okay, you're studying, but you're not doing anything. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to take the action and get into it. And then you have your people around you, you have the resources around you. Um, yes, that's super, super important. I'm wondering, when we talk about due diligence and underwriting the deals and all of that, have there been, when you're going through that process, you or your husband going through that process, have you seen red flags in the deal, that you're just like, hold on a second, yeah, I don't want to touch this deal, and you don't even spend any more time on it? Have you had that experience yet? Yes. Okay.
Yes, yes. Not when we are going to lend our money, but when we have been looking for properties to fix and
Ooh.
yeah, the pictures on the websites look so different, but when you're on the side, and then I'm just see the pictures, but I don't understand more the mechanical part.
Mm.
When I show my husband, he just see the property even in pictures, and he said, "No, this is gonna cost too much because it's gonna need a new roof, it's gonna need a new plumbing, it's gonna need new floors." And then I always want to see it by myself, not just because I want to learn more. So when
Yes.
we got to the place, and I realized that yeah, it needs too much work and it's not worth it.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So very good, very good. And I think that having that person, so if you're not lucky enough to have a spouse that is that good with being able to see what needs to happen, I know what my partner and I have done is we've met with a contractor. We've
Mhm.
had a GC meet us at the property to walk through there and see if there's anything that we're missing, because yeah, there could be cracks in the ceilings
Yeah.
that you don't pick up on because you're just looking at eye level straight across. Oh yeah, the cabinets look nice and the flooring looks nice, but there's all these cracks in the ceilings, or big stains in the
Yes.
ceilings, like there's been some kind of leak from the AC or something. So yeah, you can get a GC to meet you out there, walk the property, and they can highlight anything that they're seeing issues with the foundation, the roofing, the systems. Those are going to be the big ticket items to
Yes.
watch out for. Um, so uh, we've crossed the gamut here of different things that a lender needs to think about, the risks, how do you protect yourself, what kind of returns you could get. Would you how much would you say somebody needs to have, either themselves or at least access to get started realistically as a private money lender?
How much money?
Yeah.
Well, that is a good thing here, that you don't need to be rich.
Ooh.
Yes, mostly you need education
Okay.
and have a community or group that have experience and can guide you through different deals. And there's some borrowers or operators that they just ask for 10,000 minimum.
Okay.
It's yeah, and also let's say you don't have 10,000. I recently have a friend that she was waiting and waiting to become a private money lender, and
Yeah.
she had only 8,500. And I said, okay, no worries, let's partner up. I give you the difference, and then as soon as you receive the interest, you give me my part, you take your part, and we're fine. So it was a good starting for her, that she learned two things: that she learned that she doesn't need to be rich, and she learned that she can partner with somebody and start doing it.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I think that's probably going to be a huge revelation to a lot of newbies out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there, because it makes sense. You're thinking about properties and how many thousands of dollars that go into that, and if you're going to lend, I mean, it's a natural thing to think that, okay, well, I must have to start out with a couple 100,000 or something. So
Mhm.
it's good to know you can JV, you could partner up with other people who have the money, and then you split the interest that you earn on that. How do what's the timing of those payments that you typically, is it that they're paying you monthly, the interest, or quarterly, or how does that work?
So most of the operators, they usually pay you monthly interest, but the one I'm working with, they paid 15 days after closing with escrow. You have your full interest. And the reason why he's with this system is because he knows that some people use home equity line of credit or credit cards to lend. So he wants to make sure they have all the money to make their payments on their credit cards or home equity lines. And then at the end of the term, they receive. And for me, it's nice because it's another um, part of the trust.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're getting enough return, you could take money out of your HELOC or out of your retirement accounts
Mhm.
to lend. And as for a retirement account, if you lend that money and you're getting the enough return, you just want to make sure that that's paid back within that time frame, so it doesn't. Yes, yes. Ooh, lots of ideas, lots of
Mhm.
opportunities. I
Yes.
love this. Okay, well, so how do people get a hold of you? Like on Instagram or Facebook or texting? What do you prefer?
I use Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I'm working now on my YouTube. In all the channels, I'm as Caro Cox, real estate investor.
Nice, awesome. So you're creating your own podcast.
Yeah, I'm learning from the best. You.
Yes, this is awesome. So everybody can check out your podcast as well for more information or reach out to you directly. Are you open to partnering up with people? Are you providing training? What does that look like?
Yes, well, I haven't posted anything. I just started last week, and I'm working on setting up everything. So hopefully, the first release is going to be this Friday.
Okay.
And then it's mostly educational videos from experts that they are sharing all their experience and acknowledge with newbies.
Nice. I love it. Well,
Yeah.
thanks so much for spending some time with me and walking through what you've been working on and how to do this. It's making me more excited about getting some more of my own money out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. When I saw the difference, and I'm like, there's no brainer. I mean,
Yeah,
what? Yeah, instead of letting the bank make the money, I'm making the money now.
exactly. Be the bank, people. I
Yep.
think we should end on that note. Be the bank.
Be the man.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Talk to you later.
Thank you, Stephanie. Have a good
Bye.
one.
You too.